Welcome everyone, my name is Luzana Rosinova and today I'll be talking about Wikibase instances in the cultural heritage domain, specifically sharing examples of federation and collaboration from the German humanities NFD consortia. The German National Research Data Infrastructure, or NFD for short, is an association of disciplinary specific consortia working towards the shared goal of an interoperable infrastructure and services for research data management. Today I'll be talking about a joint collaboration by the Humanities Consortia NFD for Objects, NFD for Memory and NFD for Culture, who are all using the Wikibase open source software for managing linked open data. Wikibase is released and maintained by Wikimedia Germany and it's supported by a large international community. It is the software behind Wikidata, which is already largely in use by humanities projects, but Wikibase offers additional benefits because it is possible to customize according to the needs of communities and collections, for example, adjusting data models, access rights, licensing, etc. A couple of projects that are already developed by the consortium include the Provenance Gazetteer Wikibase for persons and corporate bodies, and the possibility to link these to other resources on the open web. Also the FuzzESL Wikibase from NFD for Objects, which makes it possible to record detailed geoarchaeological data even when there are ambiguities and uncertainties around the data. And initiatives such as the Linked Open OGAM Sites project in Wikidata, which includes citizen science contributions. The FAGRID database for historical data is also an important example, supported by the History NFD for Memory. It contains a very large amount of people and historical events, which can be referenced by the other NFDs as well. And an example from NFD for Culture is the Semantic Compact project, which includes an interface for 3D model presentation and annotation on top of a Wikibase where the contextual data can be stored. The Federation case study that we developed together with colleagues from the other consortia aimed to test in practice how interoperable this idea of the shared infrastructure via Wikibase really is, what challenges we can encounter, and also what opportunities. The starting point was a dataset from NFD for Objects containing data about Ogham stones. Ogham stones are stones found in Ireland and containing some of the earliest inscriptions of the Irish language. A starting point was to upload 3D models from these stones into the Semantic Compact project and then try to connect from there to some of the other wikis in use by the consortia. As a first easy starting point, we tried federation with Wikidata, and this gave us good results. We were able to retrieve external identifiers from a lot of other projects via Wikidata. We also found out here that typically the results returned for external identifiers are just strings, and we needed to use the bind IRI operator to connect these strings into full URIs. Next, we wanted to try federation across more than just one or two Wikibases, and we wanted to try to connect the external IDs in Wikidata towards FAGRID, where we could get information about people in inscriptions, and then hop over to FuzzESL for coordinates. We found out this was more challenging because the Sparkle endpoints of these services didn't all have configurations in the so-called allow list to allow each other to call upon each other, essentially. So we used an open Sparkle service from the DBLP project in Germany, and while this service gave us good results as demonstrated on this slide, it also showed that there are performance issues with such a complete open Sparkle endpoint approach. And also in this case, we were not able to use the bind IRI operator, which is available in the Wikibase Sparkle endpoint, and we had to essentially use workarounds to get to the URIs of the resources that we needed. This wasn't optimal, and so we worked further on our collaboration to actually modify the allow list so that we could query between the different Wikibases, and this is an example of a query starting from Semantic Compact, hopping over to Wikidata, hopping over to FAGRID, and in the end to FuzzESL. What we found out with this example is that we did need, again, specialist knowledge to know where what kind of external identifiers are stored, how we can do the hops, so to say. Also, we found that the syntax can get relatively complex, and it's quite error prone because we have to manually specify all of the prefixes for the different resources. And also in Wikibase and in Wikidata, all entities are stored with P and Q identifiers, which can again lead to mistakes if all the prefixes are not correctly set. So what did we conclude following on this case study? We found out quite a lot of challenges towards the frictionless federation between these instances, and the challenges are both technical and social. The Sparkle endpoint documentation is not very full online, so even setting up the open endpoints for each individual Wikibase requires quite a bit of search. The allow lists for the services also are not optimized. It's not easy, for example, to update these allow lists. Lastly, as mentioned, the manual writing out of the syntax of these federated queries is error prone, and we found that at least a minimal amount of automation, for example, pre-filling the lists of prefixes, would be quite helpful. Importantly, ontology harmonization and mapping require quite a lot of community coordination effort, and this is something that we hope the NFD and the working groups within the NFD can contribute towards. And as we're exploring AI enhancements in other areas of the NFD, we felt that this is something that could be explored further also when it comes to usage of infrastructure such as Wikibase and Wikidata. Opportunities that we found include the flexibility of the data structure, the possibility to express ambiguity and fuzziness, which is quite important in the humanities, and also the accessibility of the user interfaces with their possibilities for granular read and write access. Again, we found that very helpful for the needs of our projects. And last but not least, we were able to actively contribute with our findings and our documentation towards different working groups within the individual consortia, and also towards the efforts of the open source communities. Thanks very much, and we're open for questions.